Okay, how are you today? We are going to talk about narcissists because I get a lot of questions about is my partner a narcissist? The yes answer to your question is if your partner does not make you feel good and you feel pain, okay? And I mean emotional pain, which is just worse than physical pain, except you can't see the wound. And that's not good for your heart or your health or your spirit or your life because narcissists do not change. So, if you find yourself in a relationship where your feelings are being hurt and you have uh, spoken to the person about it, uh, have the courage to leave. You might have pain after you've left. You might feel lonely after you've left, but it will pass and you can find a better relationship. Now, a lot of people are afraid of the pain, so they're really trying to get readings to find out what they can do to make the person change. And I'd like to say to you, would you like your partner to be calling me up for a reading on how they can make you change? Once you become an adult, you are the way you want it to be. And what makes your partner a narcissist is a person can see that you're hurt, and adults can see that you're hurt and they keep hurting you. That's a narcissist. Uh, and it's also a narcissist if they can't see that they're hurting you. If they're insulting you, criticizing you, abusing you, you know, and they don't think you should be hurt, you know. So it's not a fit. Love is easy. Okay, love is uplifting. Love is joyful. So from the tarot point of view, if you see these cards reversed, they would be your court cards: King of Swords, Queen of Swords, King of Wands, Queen of Wands, King of Discs, Queen of Discs, King of Cups, Queen of Cups, and the Son of Swords either which way. Okay. The other ones can be, but these are your definites, okay? And most of the time, all of the time. All right, King of Swords. King of Swords is a guy who likes to play head games, do things to make you worried, you know, uh, put you in situations where you're fearful. I saw a perfect example on the news the other day. Uh, People were on a bridge. Before they got up there, they thought they wanted to jump. When they got up there, the person who was supposed to jump changed their mind. And so the so called friend pushed them off anyway, even though they said no. And the person ended up breaking 8 ribs. Very painful. 2 lungs punctured. Very painful. Narcissist response: oh, but I love that person. No, they don't. Okay. So things like that happen, or you say you're in an environment that's unsafe. That's a perfectly good example, and they want to keep you there or ignore you or push you there. You're in a narcissist, someone who just doesn't care, doesn't have a heart. We call them non-humans. Same thing for the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is a little different. Queen of Swords is a setup. you know, I think everybody knows in situations where uh, uh, a person puts you in a situation where it's perfectly reasonable, uh, and like this is stealing your husband. This is a woman who steals your husband and didn't really like your husband, but just steals women's husbands because she's got to have a one up because she can. Okay, and then I have people calling me up for reading saying, uh, will we get back together? Should I forgive my girlfriend? I've known her since I was a child. No, forget about it. Move on. You know, grow your life. Or if you see somebody do this to somebody else, know that they will do it to you. And if you hear somebody talking about it at a party or somewhere, know that they will continue to do it. Because people who get gratification from taking what somebody else's instead of getting their own when it comes to affairs of the heart, once again, heartless, no empathy, no respect, no love, that's a narcissist. Okay. And that goes for men too. Men who are in relationships with women who are constantly berating them, putting them down, okay, and they're striving to please them. That's twisted, okay? That's a narcissist. You know, you should be able to please someone. If you cannot please your woman, then that's not yours. That's not meant for you. She's a narcissist. And that's a sick relationship if you as a man want to stay with a woman who you cannot please. Uh, King of Wands reversed. That's a guy who's never there on time. A person who says he's going to text you to be somewhere doesn't show up. Person who says they're going to send you an email, it doesn't come. Uh, uh, Someone who says they're going to pick you up, they don't show up. Someone who should be meeting you when you travel and they're not there. Okay, once again, a lack of empathy, comfort, unreliable liar. Okay. Uh, and it's the same for a woman as well. Someone who should be there. I mean, this could be a family member, could be your mother. You know, that's how some poor children are raised by a mother who doesn't pick them up after school and they get beat up by bullies. And then you complain to your mother, you got beat up by bullies, and she said that was your fault. And I'm not paying attention. So you need to know that. In a relationship, it's the same thing. Uh, you need a ride home from work or something, and the person just never spends money on hair, nails, makeup, you know, that could be used for a car, okay? And that's not even who spends money on drugs. I mean, spends money on, that's an addict, that's another video, but I mean, spends money on things that they didn't need to, has no self-control. They got to make themselves feel better. That's the key to a narcissist. Always making themselves feel better at the expense of someone else. That's a narcissist. American greed, nothing but narcissists. I mean, if you want to really know what they are. King of Discs, reversed. That's a ruthless CEO. You know, that's a guy who just devours companies, like the character in the movie Pretty Woman. We buy companies, we destroy lives, we destroy uh, property. You know, we buy houses, we put people in the street, and we build parking lots, parking garages. Okay. Once again, building themselves up, don't give a damn about anybody else, even if they go home and the house is filled with material things. You know, uh, that's that's a narcissist. Anybody who's hurting a lot of people and making a living off of it and feeling good about it. Narcissist. Queen of Discs, reversed. Narcissist. Someone who is supposed to be nesting and she's got so much stuff in the house that the guy can't get in. He can't eat. There's no place to sit. There's no place to eat. There's no place to watch TV because there's books and magazines and lamps and countless things that aren't necessary because the woman is trying to make herself feel good and doesn't care about the people around her. Queen of Discs reversed. Okay, hoarder. That's a hoarder. Okay. King of Cups reversed. We're gonna do first. That's a guy who, on the outside world, looks like a great father, but he's never got any time for his kids. But the kids got bikes, and the kids got clothes, and the kids got the perfect house. But the kid is always alone in the house because the dad is out, looking good and feeling good. And look how good my kid looks, and look how how he feels is not important. It is better to look good than to feel good. King of Cups, narcissist. Honey, why don't you spend more time with your child? You know, he's fine. Look at him. Look at his room. He's got video games. He's got smartphones. He's got all the latest gadgets. Here, you know, here's $1,000. Narcissist. Okay, look what I gave my kid. Look where I took my kid. Look at the pictures of me and my kid. Oh, snap the picture. Gotta run. Gotta go get somebody else to make me look good or to make me feel good. You know, so making other people look good. Okay, no heart, no empathy, no caring, no how are you, no hug, no kiss, no squeeze, no time, no attention. Narcissist. Okay. So, mother, um, that's the same too. That sends her kid off to boarding school, because, so that she can go on vacations, lavish vacations. No time, no attention, no heart. If you're in a relationship like that, I'm talking about parents. But two narcissists in a relationship aren't giving each other any time, any attention, aren't caring for the other person's needs. These are a lot of calls I get up. Does the person really care about me? This is a person when I do a relationship reading, and the question that I get asked is, how does he feel about me? Okay. So you're probably with a narcissist. Because if you have to ask in a reading how someone feels about you, you should know. You should know. If a person loves you, they're always giving you stuff every day, that they know will make you feel good, you know. And then when I get a call in a reading and it says, and they say, but he says he loves me. And I think to myself, okay, he said that he loved you, but you just asked me, how does he feel about you? Okay? So that's another indication you're in a narcissistic relationship. Son of Swords. Son of Swords, upright and reversed. Okay? For people who are getting readings or learning how to read, this is a man who is the great I am and grows into one of these reverse kings or queens, um, and hates women, hates them. Usually this person um, was abandoned as a child, who was neglected, so who never learned love, never hugged, never spent time with. Everybody was always telling them how they should love their mother and love their father and love their sisters and brothers, but they never uh, felt any love, so they didn't know how to do it, and all they felt was pain. So what they do is they turn around and they give pain, and they get a reaction. So all they want is a reaction, negative attention getting. Okay, so they grow up with the same thing, trying to make themselves feel better. And I can say, and a reverse Son of Swords is when you hear somebody putting a cat in a microwave. I mean, then they really lost hope, because everybody can grow up and do spiritual work, to get their heart back. Meditation uh, is hard for them, but tapping is good. It's something that if you feel you want to change yourself, can bring back uh, a sense of peace. So at least you get where you're going. You got to know where you're going. So I would suggest tapping. Meditation is very hard. Um, yeah, I would just start there at that one place if you want to change. If you don't, it's really hard um, when you leave this dimension to capture the attention of the absolute. And you can talk to me about that in private, but these are the experiences that you are having. And ladies, for this other reading, if you have been having the experience for 10 years or 12 years or 20, and you feel that you have been trying and someday he will change, you are never going to see that change. It's been too long. Um, the story of Narcissist, I'll end on this, because men will leave and men can find another relationship, and women are afraid of the pain. I got news for you. The pain of leaving will not kill you, but living in the constant pain for 20 years will kill you, because it constricts the blood vessels. It's very stressful. You don't even know you're tight all the time. You're going around like this. Well, you see that? You see the difference? See, the blood can't flow. If the blood can't flow, the immune system isn't working, the organs aren't being clean, you're not flowing. And being having a peaceful mind, is psychic community. You know, if you are happy, you know, people who insult you, you go, oh, I think I was just insulted, and that's about as upset as you get about it. And you don't go back into the situation. You go, no, no, I want to be breathing deeply. So the story of Narcissus goes like this. Narcissus was a beautiful man, and narcissists are beautiful people, charmers, don't get touched. That's another narcissist. So if you cuss them out and don't touch them, that's a narcissist because they got no feelings, they got no heart. You're not going to affect them. They don't need anybody else. They don't need to connect. So Narcissus was always looking in the lake, admiring himself. That's the old fable back in the days of Disney. And the interesting thing I find about Narcissus is he did that his whole life. And all the women who fell in love with him because he was so beautiful. He was so beautiful and charismatic. This is Narcissus as well. They don't get upset too much, unless it's a reverse King of Swords who's trying to upset you. And he's not really upset. That's the only reason he's getting upset. But they always have the women on the side, waiting, waning, begging, pleading, praying for his attention, maybe someday. And do you know how that always ends up? That the woman at the side, waiting, praying, begging, waning for his attention, dies. And Narcissus doesn't notice. He's still admiring himself in the mirror, the glass, the lake. And if perchance he should look up and that person isn't there to take care of his needs, he simply finds another one. And on some level, I think when I give readings, women know that if they don't stick there by his side, he'll find somebody else. And they're right. So, ladies, find somebody who's looking at you, not the lake, the mirror, because you're going to end up always looking at him. And no matter what you do and how good you look, he'll never put you first because he's a narcissist. So, if you have any of these traits that I have brought up and you're experiencing them in your relationship and your heart feels like somebody put a stake through it or I saw a knife that was made of ice and you feel that that's going through your heart, or better yet, you're walking around with that knife in your heart all the time, or in your chest, or in your neck, or in your, spirit, give me a call or come into private or text or chat, you know, and let's discuss it so that we can help you get out of that situation and get out of the pain so that you can be healed, because that's like a chronic flu, and sooner or later it's going to break down your psyche and you're going to have an accident or hurt yourself or kill yourself or smoke yourself to death or drink yourself to death, but it's going to be, you'll be going before he does. Okay. All right. So that's information on narcissists. And do check, with a reading, because that was a real overview. Okay. And as always, if you get a reading with me, we also donate to domestic violence, psychosexual assault, and making the world a better place for women, because we do the nesting in the home. And I'm a woman, so I just stick with what I know. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in.